near such dangerous gaseous infusion into the atmosphere.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues. Henry HSDickson, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity at least to give my views on this and to inform the Senate in the way and manner you have requested. But before I come to your specific inquiry or question, let me say that I associate myself with this motion, which is bringing to the notice of the Senate a very sad development. But as sad as it is, as dangerous as it is, this is the fate that our people have lived with all these years, since the discovery of oil. And it's not a fate that is peculiar to Bayelsa. It's a fate that is jointly suffered by all communities and states where you have producing facilities. But maybe because Bayelsa is where oil and gas in commercial quantity started, this is not the first time we're having this. We had a Texaco blowout in southern Niger, incidentally, the local government of the mover. And so that one occurred twice. And this is the third one we're having. And this, Mr. President and my dear colleagues, is a very massive facility that Shell and this country, the NNPC, the partners, built to trap all the gas, all that is produced in that area, to trap it from Bonny and so on. Then they now send it to sell as liquefied natural gas. But it is located in a place where you have also communities. And that's the challenge, because you have the Gbarain, it's called the Gbarain Ubie pipeline, but you have the Gbarain communities and the neighboring communities, several of them around. So it was very appropriate that this matter was brought to the notice of the Senate. And now to your specific question. The citizens have nowhere to run to because the communities are all around it. Communities are all around it. I understand that efforts have been made to control the inferno. Control the inferno. But the citizens are still there. The villagers are nowhere to pack to. And they are living side by side this facility. And in fact, living side by side with all other facilities flaring gas. If you go to even government house, where you've been there severally, in government, you see there in the governor's office or residence, and you'll be seeing the flare stations all around. Sometimes those communities don't even know the difference between daylight and night, because the flaring is continuous. But that is money that is flared, but that is what has been going on in this country. Every time they will come and review deadline to stop gas flaring, but it's not done. So that flaring is going on, and that's the same fate that the communities in that Gbarain Ubie area are currently suffering from. But I understand that the inferno has been brought under control. And if it explodes, because it is gas, once there is explosion and fire, it moves with the wind. So it's a terrible development, and it could have been worse. It could have been worse. The casualty rate and the level of destruction of communities and so on could have been far worse, because it's going with the wind, catching fire, moving with the wind. So I thank my dear colleague who brought this motion. And even for this facility, it may interest you to know that Shell, the major partner that's running this facility, they were not even paying ground rents or any kind of even tax to the state. I had to send a bill when the mover was my speaker for 8 years, almost, to make law, and then to make a case for even ground rents and tax to be paid. But I'm happy that I was informed some 2-3 months ago that the fight we started, that Shell had conceded and that they had paid the first tax to the state, just about 3 months ago, which they challenged, but they settled out of court, luckily. That's what the government informed me. So that is the situation we are managing. So I will advise when you come to the prayers that this Senate will have to, maybe the committees, relevant committees, will have to conduct an inquiry, not the executive, because we don't believe that the executive understands the challenges that our people have been suffering all these years. But maybe if the joint committees look into the matter, we can have a report to look at and then interface with NMPC, now whatever it is called, and then the operators and the regulatory bodies to see what steps can be taken to determine the adequacy of the measures that have been taken, and also steps that can forestall further development. Mr. President and my dear colleagues, thank you very much for your sympathy and understanding, but this is the fate that we have been suffering in the national interest, the contributions, not just Bayelsa, not just Gbarain, Ubie, but all the producing communities and states and local governments in the Niger Delta. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, very distinguished Senator Dickson. This is a very worrisome motion, because